Welcome back, everyone, to NFL Talking Points. I'm your host, Joseph Gardner. Today we are going over Week 9 preview. Now, something that I'm adding in to our preview show at the end of each game preview, I'm going to give you a one-leg player prop. You can combine any number of these. Just know that this is just kind of for fun. And I've had a few different people ask for just some different bets and stuff that you could throw on here. Like I said, don't take it seriously, but it is kind of just fun to look at and just guess what you can get right. But first, before we do the preview, we're going to go over the Thursday night football game. Ravens travel to Miami to face the Dolphins. Dolphins had so many opportunities here, multiple times got it into Ravens territory, and turnovers, bad play calling, bad play, just lots of stuff. Essentially turned the Dolphins into a one-dimensional team where the Ravens just pounced them, man. Lamar Jackson is so back. He was responsible for all of the Ravens' touchdowns. They scored 28 points, so all touchdowns, all extra points made. Just a complete whomping of a bad Dolphins team. And this Ravens team is on the rise. Not much more that I really have to say about Thursday night. I did get my player prop correct on that. I had Zay Flowers over 59.5 reception yards and Jalen Waddle over 3.5 receptions. Both of those hit. So that was pretty cool, pretty fun. That said, let's move on to our preview part of the show. The first game we're going to talk about is Chicago and Cincinnati. This is an interesting game because, in my opinion, this Bears team has gotten almost all of their wins based off of turnovers, and the offense doesn't look very good unless they are starting with incredible field position off of a defensive turnover. And that's not how the game can be played every time. Maybe Joe Flacco is one that will turn the ball over. I don't think it's going to be the case. I think Cincinnati actually comes out with a win here. They've been playing really well, and they've had a kind of tough schedule versus the Bears, who have had an easier schedule, and they've beaten most of their opponents. But I've got to go with Cincinnati here. My player prop for this game, again, just one player prop for each game. My player prop for this one is DeAndre Swift over 55.5 rushing yards. Next, we've got Detroit and Minnesota. This is in Detroit. Lions taking on the Vikings. This is going to be a blowout. I don't see a way that this Vikings team can compete right now with this Lions team. JJ McCarthy is coming back, but if you look at just the base statistics and the metrics, the talking points, if you will, the Lions are third in points per game, and the Vikings are 23rd in points per game. That mostly sums it up. The other thing is total interceptions. Lions have intercepted the ball 7 times on defense. Vikings only 3. Jared Goff is not going to be one of those that's intercepted often. I am taking Detroit here. And my player prop for this one is 9.5 receiving yards for David Montgomery. David Montgomery over 9.5 receiving yards. Next, we've got Carolina going to Lambeau to face Green Bay. The Panthers taking on the Packers. Go, Pack, go. This could be an interesting game. I don't think it's going to be, though. The Packers have been really good against the run. They're top 10 against the run so far this year, specifically like running yards. And if you look at the Panthers, I mean, they're 5th in rushing yards per game. That's only going to get you so far. The the biggest thing for me right now is the total sacks. Green Bay has 21 sacks. They are killing it on the defensive line, and they have just starting to get healthy. In addition to that, Christian Watson returned last week. We saw what the Packers offense was looking like there. I like this Packers offense to put up plenty of points to keep this game out of reach for Carolina. And my prop for this one, a little bit more risky. This is probably the worst prop of the day. But I'm taking Matthew Golden, the rookie, to score his first touchdown. I'm taking him with an anytime touchdown, so passing or running. If he scores, if the ball's in his hands in the end zone, he gets a touchdown. I'm taking that prop for this week. Again, that's probably my most risky pick, but I like it. He hasn't scored yet. I want him to get his first TD, and I think it could be totally against this Carolina team. Next, we've got Denver at Houston. This seems like a pretty good matchup on paper, and Houston is favored by 1.5 at home, which means I think Vegas kind of does technically give the slight edge to Denver as a team if it was a neutral site, but because Houston's at home, they're giving it to Houston. Now, the biggest thing for me, this Texans offensive line is bad, and this Broncos team has 36 sacks on the year, the most in the NFL. They are first in sacks in the NFL. I think that's going to be the game right there. I don't think that this Houston team is going to be able to do enough to be able to stop the Broncos defensive line from getting home. And if you can't stop the Broncos defensive line, well, you're not going to be able to do much in the game. That said, I do like Nico Collins in his second game back from injury to go over 64.5 receiving yards. They just don't have much else to go to on that team, and I do imagine that with Riley Moss being essentially corner one now, because Patrick Surtain is out with an injury, he got put on IR. I can see Nico Collins kind of going off against this Denver secondary. It's going to have to be like just 2 plays that are big plays. I could see that happening. The rest of the game, I'm taking the Denver defensive line to win. Next, you've got Atlanta and New England. Interesting game. Mainly the fact that Atlanta literally just beat the Bills a couple weeks ago and then lost to the Dolphins and Panthers. They're just such a weird team. If Atlanta can put something together here and like they did against the Bills, it'll just be the weirdest team in the world. But I could kind of see it. I am not going to pick the Falcons here, though. New England is on a roll. Drake May is playing at an MVP level. He's playing out of his mind, and the defense has improved as well. I do see New England winning this. That said, I'm going to take Bijan Robinson over 67.5 rushing yards. It's a pretty high prop, but for someone with the talent of Bijan, I can see him absolutely cooking in this game, especially considering that last game he was held to almost nothing. I think they're going to learn from that. They're going to say, look, maybe the reason we lost to the freaking Dolphins is because we didn't run the ball with Bijan Robinson like we should. Let's go back to that because that's what gave us the win over the Bills. So do what you're good at, essentially. Next, we're going to go to San Francisco at New York Giants. San Francisco 49ers going to MetLife Stadium to face the Giants. This one is kind of a sad game as far as just injuries go on both sides of the ball. No Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa, no Brock Purdy again, no Ricky Pearsall. I saw Brandon Perna on YouTube. He said, Ricky Pearsall played more last year after he got shot than he has played this year. Which is just kind of which is kind of funny. Literally got shot last year and made his way back onto the field and played more last year than he has this year so far. And then on the opposite side, on the Giants side, no Cam Scatterbo, no Jackson Dart. I could see the Giants getting a win here, but it's going to take a lot, and I don't think I can really put too much on Tyrone Tracy, their backup running back. I see Christian McCaffrey doing a little bit more than him, just because he's Christian McCaffrey, and because of that, I'm going to take the 49ers. But my player prop is on Tyrone Tracy to get over 2.5 receptions. Cam Scatterbo was targeted over and over in the last couple weeks by Jackson Dart. I think Tyrone Tracy can be the same security blanket for Jackson Dart in this game. Next, we've got Indianapolis Colts going to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. This is going to be a blowout, and maybe not necessarily a blowout because Pittsburgh has played well against other like superpowers, but nothing like they laid down last week against the Packers, and I think the Colts are on that same level. I expect a similar game. Aaron Rodgers is helping this team get some wins, but it's not enough to get him this win. I'm going to take the Jonathan Taylor anytime TD. Just Jonathan Taylor scores a touchdown. That's my player prop for this one. He's done so almost every game. He's had a few where he's scored 2 or 3 touchdowns this year. It's one of the ones that is probably going to make you a lot less of a bonus if you take it, but it's one that will almost certainly hit against this Pittsburgh defense. I like Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown. Next, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers going to Tennessee to face the Titans. Tennessee at home. This is going to be a blowout. Joe Alt is back, and when Joe Alt is on the field, this offense runs like it's really good. I don't see any way that LA doesn't score 3 or more touchdowns. I just don't see a way that they don't blow out this Titans team. And for that reason, I'm taking Cameron Dicker the kicker, the Chargers kicker, to score 2.5, over 2.5 extra points made. That's an easy prop for me. I just don't see how LA doesn't score 3 touchdowns at least on this Titans team. I don't. You're telling me that it's the Chargers are going to score less than 21 points? I don't see it. Next, we've got the Saints and the Rams. Another what should be a blowout. I think it'll be close. I picked the Saints to cover on this game, but you got to pick the Rams in this one. For this, I'm going to take Jared Verse to get a sack over 0.5 sacks. Essentially, that just means I'm taking Jared Verse to get at least 1 sack of the rookie Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck with his first NFL start. Last week, he didn't start. He came in for Spencer Rattler, I believe. He might have started. I don't remember exactly. But, yeah, Tyler Shuck. Essentially, he's a rookie, and I can't imagine that he's going to do enough to stop Jared Verse from getting a sack or do enough to win in the game. I do like the Saints team, though, so give me the Saints to cover, Rams to win, and Jared Verse to get a sack. Next, we've got Jacksonville at Las Vegas. Jacksonville traveling to the Black Hole to face the Raiders. Jaguars without their two-way star in Travis Hunter. That really hurts their cornerback depth and their wide receiver depth. And I didn't really realize like how much they were hurting in both of those categories until they lost Travis Hunter to IR, and he plays both of those positions. And I'm like, whoa, actually they really need both of those positions. If Jacksonville's going to do anything, it's going to have to be through Brian Thomas Jr. And I don't know. I don't see that. I don't want to bet on Brian Thomas Jr. He's had so many drops. This Jacksonville offense is so up and down. I haven't been a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to take Max Crosby to get a sack in this game as well. Max Crosby has been a monster all year. And against Trevor Lawrence, I think he can do it. Next, we've got Kansas City at Buffalo. Why this game is not the Sunday Night Football game blows my mind. How did we fumble that, NFL? But, whatever. Both teams with 5 wins. Kansas City 5-3, Buffalo 5-2. The Chiefs are just coming into their own with their offense. And Buffalo, the Bills just had one of their better outings just last week against the Panthers. The Bills have, in the past, performed really well with and Josh Allen have performed really well against this Chiefs team in the regular season and then lost in the postseason. I don't think that'll be the case this time. I'm going to take the Chiefs with the away upset against the Bills. I am going to take Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. This is going to be a shootout, and maybe Josh Allen scores a rushing touchdown of his own, or maybe James Cook scores a touchdown. There are 4 touchdowns available still in this game. I think Josh Allen to pass for 1.5 over 1.5 touchdowns seems like a pretty good bet. Next, Sunday Night Football. We've got Seahawks and the Commanders. Seahawks, Seattle traveling to Washington to face the Commanders. The Commanders at home. Commanders 5-3. Seahawks 3-5, and Seahawks 5-2. This Seahawks defense is so good. Jaden Daniels is back playing. I am going to have to take the Seahawks on this, though. The Seahawks are just playing really good defense, really good offense, all around a really good team. Sam Darnold is playing as good as he's ever played all year. It's just a really good Seahawks team. We're going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba to get a touchdown in this one. That's my player prop. Over 0.5 touchdowns, anytime TD. Jackson Smith and Jigba scores a touchdown in this one. Next, we've got Monday Night Football. Last game to talk about. Monday Night Football. Cardinals traveling to Dallas to face the Cowboys. Arizona 2-5. Dallas 3-4-1. That one tie to the Packers. Okay. This game is interesting in the fact that both of these teams really need this win. Arizona has a much more difficult schedule after this coming up. It just gets more and more difficult for them. And the Cowboys could still possibly be in this playoff race if they win this game at 4-4-1. They're only 2 games behind the Eagles. And if you beat the Eagles in one of those, you're only, and that it can add up quick. And I don't think this Eagles team is what we're making them out to be. So, I've got the Eagles all the way down at 13 in my power rankings. So, Cowboys, do what you're supposed to do at home. Win this game. I am going to take Kyler Murray to throw for over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Kyler Murray has not been great this year, but this Dallas defense is so bad, and I can see him kind of getting a jump up in this game. We're going to take Cardinals to lose, Cowboys win, but Murray for 1.5 passing touchdowns. I wanted to take Dak's line, but it was 2.5, and their running game has been coming into form. I don't know if I can take that. So that's that. That is your Week 9 preview with player props for everyone. I'm just going to go through them one more time really quick. I've got Bijan Robinson over 67.5. Jonathan Taylor to score an anytime touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 55.5 rushing yards, taking the over on that. David Montgomery, over 9.5 receiving yards. Cameron Dicker, over 2.5 extra points made. Matthew Golden, anytime touchdown. Tyrone Tracy, over 2.5 receptions. Nico Collins, over 64.5 receiving yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, anytime touchdown. Josh Allen, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Kyler Murray, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Max Crosby to get a sack, and Jared Verse to get a sack. Don't put all those into one parlay. You will almost certainly lose. But maybe get just like one or two of your favorites, or 2 or 3 of your favorites, put them into a 2-3 leg parlay, and see what happens. For me, I've also got Khalil Shakir to get 4.5 receptions. I think that's a pretty good line as well, just as kind of a bonus line in addition to the Josh Allen 1.5 passing touchdowns. Thank you all so much for listening today. I hope to be back next week to talk, let you know what happened in week 9. We'll talk trade, anything that happens before this trade deadline coming up, and hopefully get some more information for power rankings. This has been a blast. So thank you, everyone, and go Pack Go. Peace out. Heed the call.